Hello, everybody. Welcome to Indies Live. I am Jesse Gillenwalters. I am an agency specialist and indie founder coach for Entrepreneur. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Nice to meet you if you don't know who I am. And nice to meet you if I don't know who you are, for that matter. Well, I hope everyone's doing well out there. It's weird times. I'm sure you're all feeling it. What I'll say on that point is that more than ever, what we're doing here, the good work we're doing here, is extremely, it's much more relevant right now than ever before. And in fact, like, for example, I sent out an email this morning, and I had a decent sales response so far. The day's halfway through. But there's something to say about the demand for music right now and the way it changes in this immediate moment, right? Like, people had concert tickets that they may have got refunded, or that they were really pumped to, cash in on and actually see the show. And so live streams and maybe kind of CDs and things like that are very comforting right now for people. There's kind of a case to be made there. And, people are seeing the support that we need at this moment for sure. So I just want to kind of lay that out and kind of illustrate that maybe not all is lost, and maybe there's some good stuff going on for us in this moment. But the fact that you are here in the stream means that you are thinking ahead and really setting yourself up for success for times such as these unpredictable times where we can't be out and about, we can't do shows. If you have your email list, that's what you can be working right now. So, a little bit of an inspirational speech there, but I do hope everyone is happy, healthy, sane, positive, and that the people in your network are also those things. And I hope that you're not experiencing too much strife right now. But nonetheless, why don't we just get into it, shall we? So we got some questions from the Facebook comments section. And just to let you know, I do have the YouTube comments on my phone right here, so I should be pretty savvy about keeping up with anything that's being said in there. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Now let me start by saying this is an audit session, which means I am going to prioritize and look at people who brought forth assets, those being emails, landing pages, ads, videos, anything of that nature. So if you did put a question, a kind of ambiguous, normal sort of question in the comments or in the YouTube comments, I will, if it's really quick, I may answer it. If it's kind of tangentially related to an asset, I understand. I won't kind of not answer it, but I will be taking the audit or the assets as kind of first priority. So I may be skipping your question if it's something that I'll answer after I go through everybody else's audits. So just laying out the ground rules and the expectations there. Let's dive in. We have English Magic. Hello again. You're one of the first founders, actually, what great times we had, didn't we? Hi, Jesse. The landing page for audit, please. Smiley face. Also have a question. Current list of greenlight countries. Looking forward to it. Well, if you're in this stream right now, let me know what that question was on greenlight countries, and I will potentially answer it after I check out your landing page here. All right. Cool. So we got the nice logo up here. I like the size of this. It's small. The typography is very notable in a way that's not they're so strange or, so trying so hard. It's just a nice balance of evocative and legible. I really dig that. We believe music is magic, so we want to give you our entire debut album plus immersive mystical experience for free. Yes, please. Really nice photo here. Simple footer. I would update this to 2020. Not that that's a big, huge deal. We got a page view pixel there. I'm looking for a view content standard event on this page though. So I would put that on there. And then this button, I like this. I like this color. All right, before I click through, I really like this page for sure. It's super clean. You know, you're not tempted to go too crazy with extra kind of design elements. The photo does a lot of that, right? The photo kind of has all of the color and intrigue that this page needs, and you understand that, and you're not kind of dressing up the background in a distracting manner, making this button like crazy. Very parsed down copy that just focuses in. Good sized button here. And again, I think like this image and this text logo is a really just a perfect balance of like conveying who you are without being like in your face. So I'm really liking this. I think it really is efficient and it feels nice. And I get a sense for who you are in a slight manner without, you know, being beat over the head with it, which is cool. So if I click this, it takes me to another page. Interesting. So that was a bit of a squeeze page. Okay, and then Natural Magic, the art of employing the powers of nature to produce mystical or supernatural effects. The 10-song debut and immersive experience for London Pop Wizards English Magic. That's funny. Okay, and then there's a video here, which no one will be able to hear, but I'll be able to kind of hear and report what's going on, perhaps. I'm Arthur. And I'm Marth. Hey, Danny. This is good. I love the quick cuts jumping around. You just arrived. You're washing your hands. Thank you. We all appreciate it, Danny. Good to see you again, by the way. I was just talking about how you were a founder. I'm loving this image. It conveys like the humor. Again, you just have you have a really good measured sense of like, how do I convey who we are without being like overdone or underdone? It's like a really good balance there. I'm liking this video. You're Arthur. Okay. Hey, Arthur, what's up? Some press quotes here. I like the formatting. Your voice is so sick. Cool. Wow. Producer of Beach House, MGM Team, Panda Bear. Big names there. And then you have a something of a sales letter, something of a benefits kind of list. Are you actually Pop Wizards? Pop vanishes. I'm loving this. I really am, Arthur, for real. Now, my only thing is that, okay, so maybe this has the view content. Yes, it does. All right, so I'm seeing how this works now. So this is like your home page. Maybe this is just EnglishMagic.com, the home page. This is the whole website. I dig that. So if they click through, they go to this opt-in page. Now, what I'll say on this is just if you're linking someone to opt in, obviously link them into this. What do I think of the 2-page thing? Yeah, so my answer to that would be don't send them to EnglishMagic.com. Send them to EnglishMagic.com/naturalmagic so that you can minimize friction. Leave EnglishMagic.com for just organic kind of traffic, to where if they click there and then they click through and then they land here, that's fine. But if you're intending for someone to opt in, don't link them to just EnglishMagic.com. Link them here. But I'm loving both a lot. It's super clean. I'm getting the motif with like the green and the plants and the mild humor. It's really good. So if we click get the album here, we get a pop-up. I don't want to, it's always tricky with this because I don't want to clog your email with random opt-ins, but I do want to see what happens. So I'm sorry, Arthur, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to say test at indepreneur.io, which doesn't exist. I'm going to say, yo, No, it's going to be coronavirus. Submit. I just want to see what happens here. Thank you. Really pleased to have you here with us. Love is luminous. Nice. And do we have a lead standard event? Sure do. Arthur, you have my full approval on everything I just saw. Looks super great. I like the feel a lot. Really streamlined, very understandable. I would run traffic to this and see how it works. You have your standard events in line and everything. It's looking great. That was awesome. Love that. Cool. So let's move on to Ababil, I believe. Let me know if you can manage to correct my pronunciation in the comment section. Feel free to try. You say, hey, Jesse, FanFinder video audit, please, with a Dropbox link. Hopefully I have access. And let's watch. I'm going to watch it quick, give a bit of a... well, let me read these all first, and then I'll watch it. Arthur is saying, what conversion should we expect once you run it? That's an impossible question. The target of opt-ins is, ideally your opt-in page has 100% conversion, which obviously never happens. But, if you can get somewhere between a 10% and 40% conversion, I would see it as usable. If it's at 10%, you want to start looking at tweaking as it goes and bringing it up to ideally 20 or 30 or 40, obviously. I think 20% is a pretty good conversion. Most people's opt-in page, for big companies, it's like 20 is super high, right? But we're overachievers. So I would aim for 20, be delighted by 30, be over the moon about 40. And if you're at 10%, be like, all right, we don't have to scrap this, but work to improve it. All right, Ababil, FanFinder. What do I think of the first 10 seconds of it? Is the end card at the end a no-no? Should you cut it out? And one more question if I'll allow it. A Spotify question. So let me attack these first two with the FanFinder. Let's check it out. Going in, people. Again, you won't be able to hear it, but I'll have to kind of describe what I'm hearing. Whoa. Personality. Whoa. Ababil, I dig this song a lot. It reminds me a lot of Granddaddy, or some mid 2000s, early 2000s, twee pop indie kind of stuff. Wow. Okay, first 10 seconds. So to those who can't hear, it opens up and he's walking. Yeah, so it opens up and it's like you hear the ambience of the outside, and he's just talking. Well, he's singing the lyric. And you're like, oh, this is clearly just an iPhone memo kind of just talking thing. And then it drops into this full studio version. And the song doesn't miss a beat. That's super neat. I think that's cool. Ababil, I personally think that's a cool pattern interrupt. That's not something I've seen before. And what it does is it conveys it opens up with that kind of approachable look of a Facebook video, right? We're talking about having it seem kind of pedestrian and candid. It opens up with that, and it's something you could very well see, and then it just drops into a performance, which is sick. Now, I know you're asking about the end card, but this opening card would be what I'm not liking as much. I don't necessarily think you have to get rid of it. But if you find that you don't get through plays very cheaply, I would remove that end card and then see if through plays increase. Now let's look at your end card here. So you have lyrics, which is good. I like that. Oh, it's a pretty short video. Did we get it? I think end cards are okay because if they're sticking through, they're pretty much, they're pretty much ready for that, right? It's not like you're going to throw them off. It's not like they're going to get all the way through the video and be like, oh, what an end card. I'm out of here. Like, oh, I thought these guys were tight, but like now that I know they're hacks, like they won't do that. What I will say is that since it's 2.5 minutes, your KPI is 95% viewers instead of 75%. So I like this fan finder a lot, and I like the tune. It reminds me of music I used to listen to a lot. I could see it. I can think of a million targeting options like Soccer Mommy, Snail Mail, like these kind of modern indie, like muted songwriter types. Super good. Yeah, I would run it as is. I wouldn't worry about the end card. And then if you're having issues, remove the opening card. That's what I would do. You say, recently Spotify put you on an editorial playlist called Just Rock. 17th song on there currently. What should you do to best capitalize on this momentum? And you ended up vlogging about it. This is what we're always talking about, right? Like, this is the trouble. How do you capitalize on the momentum? That's exactly the trouble. Like, you can't really, because you can't follow up with them. So what do you do? Yeah, I think because I saw your post in the Indies group, and I think someone said, which I kind of like this, maybe taking the other artists on that list and using those for like targeting options, because if Spotify knows that there is a reason to put all of these people together into a playlist, that you will probably, those similar artists are probably good, targeting options as well. In terms of, like following up, you won't really be able to. Now, one thing you can think to do, perhaps, this is kind of an idea I'm pulling out of my head right now. What you can do is make a little ad that has this album art or this playlist art from Spotify and incorporate it into a small little, 15-second video kind of clip. Or maybe it has you in it as well, but make sure that this album art is very present, and run an ad with that as the creative, and maybe the sentiment of the creative is like, so honored to be on the Spotify playlist. Like, if you've been listening to it, we really appreciate it because we've been getting a lot of attention through it. And running that to people who like these other bands on the list, because then you're kind of dog whistling. So in a slight way, like, in other words, people that listen to this playlist, if they're used to going to this playlist and seeing this playlist art, and they're also on Facebook, and then they're seeing an ad and they see this playlist art again, and they're like, oh, that's that playlist I listened to, and it's coming from your band, there's a chance that maybe they'll make that connection and be like, oh, I do like that song on the playlist. So that's an idea if you have like ad spend to burn and try things, but overall that's like not the most worthwhile thing I would say you could do. With Spotify, it's kind of just like, if you catch a wave on it, it's like, just enjoy the streaming royalties and see what happens and, follow along. But, there's no data to capitalize other than kind of the sort of creative or avatar oriented insights that you can glean from like, oh, we made it on this kind of playlist with these kinds of artists. So that's what I'll say on the matter. I see Joe Wiley and the Moving Man dropping hella headlines. So I'm ready for that. But let's move on to Adeline here. Hey, Jesse, I'm trying to do the optimization for my fan finder, but my report doesn't have the video watches at 50% or 75% columns. Not sure how to proceed. Thanks for your help. Let me show you how to get there, everybody. It is in the fan finder training on where this is, but I won't beat you up for not knowing offhand where it is. So if you go into your ad account, this is my personal ad account. I shamelessly open it all the time on big live streams. I don't care. Who knows what I've done? Okay? I am an example for you. So this is, for example, a fan finder I ran recently. If I want to see the column for 50% or 75% views so that I can have a view of my KPIs, then I will go into my ad sets, or I could do this from any tab. And there's a drop down right here that says columns, performance. If I click that, it'll expand into a number of other options, and I click video engagement. This shows me my 50%, 75%, 95%, 100%, etc. views, and those are where those columns live out of line. Joe Wiley in the Movement Man says the video is above. I cannot see links in the... Well, let me see if I can. You say the video is above, but I don't see a link, and I'm sorry, I may not be able to see links in the YouTube comments. So I'm trying to think about how we can get that. If you want to post it, I think you can keep posting comments in the Facebook. If you're on the watch page, right? Drop that link in the Facebook comments widget here where I'm talking about, like this area. If you're on the watch page and you see it, drop it there, and I'll be able to see the link. I'm actually going to refresh this quick to see if we have any new entries. We sure do. All right, so let us keep it rolling. Seth Evans. Why won't Facebook let me post my landing page link? Well, Seth, I'm not sure what context you're talking about. Are you saying post your landing page link in these comments right here? Or are you saying like you're trying to post your landing page link on Facebook as from your artist page as an ad or as an organic post? There's a number of reasons why they may not be, but I'm going to need more context to know how to answer that, Seth. So please, and it's also not an asset, so please let me know if you're on what you mean, and if I have time at the end, I may kind of just answer it in general based on what I understand. Carol is in the house, everybody. Carol Fakal is in the house. Welcome in, Carol. I hope you're on. Good times. We've had plenty of good times. Good to see you still around, still trucking along. Yo, best and easiest way to monetize a live stream. PayPal, tip jar, blah, blah, blah. Who has done it successfully? P.S. It's so weird. Seth Evans says it won't let him post his link. So I'm assuming you're saying in this Facebook widget right here where questions are posted? You mean right now? I'm sorry, I do not know why. I do not know why. And I'm trying to think about how you can get it to me. All I can say is try refreshing if you have not. And we shall see your landing page link. Carol, I'm going to have to skip this one since it's not an asset, but we'll get back to it. And I don't have a hard-lined example ready, so it'll be more of a general conversation. Second question, regarding a Spotify direct-to-profile campaign you're working on, could you please confirm you're in the right direction? 1, cold targeting with CTA button to bridge page. Okay. 2, what do I recommend putting on the bridge page? Multiple streaming platforms or just Spotify? If that's what you're using in your targeting. I would say if you're going for Spotify streams and you're targeting Spotify users, like you're targeting cold audience and then going, also must, like Spotify. Then I would only include Spotify on that bridge page because you're kind of, that's the target, right? So no need to distract them with other options. Should you add a video? If you could, though, there's a chance that I think that's kind of overdone. Like, there's a chance people will watch that video and get distracted and not actually stream. So that could be a distraction from the desired outcome. But if you're using ClickFunnels, you can A/B test that and see if the video hurts or helps. You're going to create the bridge page on Squarespace. Okay. 3, how about skipping the bridge page and going straight to Spotify? That's what I would recommend. And using the 75% video views to create the lookalike. 4, what do I recommend for retargeting the pixeled listeners? Well, yeah, so I would personally skip the bridge page. It's just, it's a lot of friction, and you're only doing it to really get the lookalike. So I find that to kind of be a waste, especially because it's already a finicky situation. Direct to Spotify is already like tricky, and if you're going through Instagram, I find that it's like there's a ton of in-between pages where it like takes you to the App Store and all these other places. So I would skip the bridge page personally, but if you have one, you want to collect pixel fires on that bridge page and turn that into a lookalike. Using your 75% video view to create a lookalike as cold targeting is a good first step. So I would try that. All in all, and then recommend for retargeting the pixel listeners. Retargeting the pixel listeners. I would probably not retarget the pixel listeners because it's such a low intent audience. It's like, what are you going to say? You can come back and be like, did you stream it? It's like way too much money to get a stream, to do like a 2-step retargeting thing to make it happen, in my opinion. So my final answer would be, I would skip the bridge page. I would use the lookalikes you already have as a good first test for cold targeting, but like I wouldn't overdo or overthink this campaign. Like if that doesn't work, focus on something else or, tweak the targeting. But like Spotify traffic has to be really cheap for it to be worth it. Now I'm seeing some comments flood in here. Joe Wiley and the Moving Man, the video is above. I'm not able to see the video. If you drop it in the YouTube comments, I'm sorry. Try dropping it in the Facebook comments, though I'm seeing that Seth Evans is saying he's having trouble post it because it's deleting his comment saying it doesn't meet their community standards. Seth, if you wouldn't mind explaining your page a bit, there may be something in the metadata that's making it reject it. That would be my thought. Savaria Studios, drop the links in the Facebook comment. I will check that out. Okay, so Carol, I'm going to get back to your live stream question after I go through the assets here. All right, Joe Wiley, I'm going to refresh and see if it shows up there. Okay. So, Mary Jess Lieberland, hello. You are about to be in my class, and I'm pumped. Let's see what you say. Hello, you're due to start founder on April 6th. Praise, gonna be cool. And the stupid coronavirus means that you still haven't been able to shoot the fan finder you had planned. Will this video style potentially work? And for the tagline, maybe something like, I'm not the only one who sings instrumentals, right? Ooh, that's a good headline so far as I can see. What's love got to do with it? Mary Jess. Now, here's my thing. Should I call you Mary Jess or Mary or Jess or Ms. Lieberland? Yeah, so what I would say is that there's definitely no objections to this fan finder at all. This is very much a standard kind of, type of video that, we look for, candid, acoustic performance, one shot, understandable, right? What I would say is that this opening card, and I know you're talking about this right now, like having it start at a more compelling moment, that could help. I think before you even have to do that, I would take out the title card, which is right at the top here. I would remove this text overlay and try that. And then if it doesn't work, maybe you have to jump to a more compelling part or do a new video. What I'll say is that I think you could probably think of some take on this that could be more out of the box. Or one really simple thing that I like is to have a camera person add a little bit of motion to the shot. That makes it just feel a lot more alive and compelling. So a performance like this can be great. I think, though, if it is this way, it's making sure that performance is nailed, making sure the audio is pretty good to at least capture the nature of that performance, and then maybe adding a little bit of motion into the shot. And I think that's something you could do in our Corona reality, right? So that's what I'll say on the matter. And good, making note of your preferred pronunciation there, or your preferred reference name. Sweet. And just so you know, Joe Wiley, Savaria Studios, Seth Evans, I am following you as you comment. Big Piff as well. I'm going to get to your things. Seth Evans, I understand that it's just a landing page. I'm saying the landing page link may have metadata on it, like the page description or the headline. It might be like racy or something. I'm just kind of spitballing here. But that's perhaps why it's not letting you post. What is Mary Jess says, if you were to cut it down, what's the minimum length, please? Yeah, I would not want to cut much past 3 minutes. 3 minutes is kind of what I see as the bare minimum. So I wouldn't want to cut it down much more than that. But you can mess with tempo or add some extra bars or maybe a little bit of a vocal run or something if you need some more content in that video. P.S. You've gone through the buddy system and started Fan Finder. Any advice on what else you absolutely need to get sorted before Finder starts? You don't have to go too crazy ahead of time. I would say as much as you can do will super help you. But it's not like you're going to be dropping the ball if you're not totally versed on everything. Because we kind of pace it out to where as you go through each week, there's a certain training that matters at that moment, and it's like paced out that way. Seth Evans, that's a good idea. Drop it that way, and I will get to it. Valentina says, hey, will I look at your Evergreen Ultimate Album Launch sales page? You want to keep them in your Shopify environment, but use ClickFunnels as the front end like you did for the pre-orders. You hard-coded the buy buttons to go right to check out in Shopify. Cool. Unless they need to select the t-shirt size, then they go to the product. Very nice. What you're wondering is there some way that you can think to structure the upsells using this architecture other than showing them as bundles? You're a little concerned that this page might be too busy or overwhelming, which you don't want. Thanks so much, bro. Okay, let's check it out. Ooh, a little pop-up. Are you sure you don't want your copy of Naked Cake? Because it won't be available on Spotify. All right, well, this pop-up is lacking a button. Or maybe, I don't know if you meant to put a button or if this was it. But I would put a button on here or something, or like maybe remove it. I don't know if this is leftover or what, but headline, is your last day of acoustic all pop music sad? So here's my personal message to give for you. Obviously, so I know that this was like coming at the end of a launch and you're turning this evergreen, so make sure that you change these time relevant, pieces of content. Free shipping on your full color limited edition digipack CD and art card, personally signed by you. A bit of a little explainer video here. Got it. Okay, sorry. Right. So since it's evergreen, they're getting the same. It's still the last day for them. So that makes sense. So keep that. Digging this testimonial. You know, unreleased bonus track, but only when you purchase now. But hurry, offer expires in an hour. Yeah, so what I'll say is that on the above the fold, I have no option to buy anything. So that might not be the worst thing because they're super warm. If they're getting here, they're used to these content pages. They understand how these work. They might scroll around. They won't necessarily click off in a flippant manner. But I would think about clicking, have a button that auto scrolls them down and just says, claim your bundle, and then auto scrolls them down to these options, maybe. That's just an idea. I know what you're talking about in terms of there is a lot going on. I think it's just like, I see that you really tried to contain it, and it does feel fairly contained. Like, I think you did a decent job of making sure it's not over the top, but you're right that there is a lot going on. So, like, maybe this testimonial doesn't have to be right there, especially because they've experienced everything up to now. So maybe that can not be there, and this is just more what's the situation. They scroll down. It's been so great sharing this with you. As your thanks, check out the options you put together. You give them a free shipping code, and then there is the kind of core offer option. Okay. What I'll say is that in the context of everything, and because it mirrors this section, like these two sections, there's this video on the left, the Walmart on the right. Then I go down, there's some stuff on the left, Walmart on the right. This makes me kind of put it out of my mind as a different thing, when this should be jumping out at me like, oh, this is where I purchase. But I think this makes me see that again and put it out of my mind, like kind of like an ad banner blindness sort of thing. So I want this to be more center and like, yes, this is where you buy, this is what you're buying. This feels like it's not getting a lot of the real estate. So one thing would be I would move this testimonial down, maybe center this, but I would be looking for this up here also. Maybe you trade these out. Yeah, my overall recommendation would be move this core offer up, and make sure that you're not duplicating this image too many times so that we're not like over seeing it and putting it out of our mind. So then they scroll down and there's other options here. They can do a download version. They can get a shirt bundle. They can get, I think this is a different shirt. Oh, digital with a shirt. Poster with CD, poster digital, okay. And then we have tons of, this is a good place for testimonials for sure. Yeah, so I think what I'm looking for is make this more of a centered vibe rather than two columns vibe, so that the eye is very just trained on like, here is the offer, here's what we're talking about. And maybe move this testimonial down below. Maybe this could be like the top testimonial down here, like big front and center up here, and then have these smaller ones below. But I want this offer to be more front and center, bigger, centered. And then I think this is good as they go down the fold, they can pick a more nuanced bundle or have some upsells. I think that's cool. So that's good. The only thing I'd say is that there's more kind of, no, I think that's good. So if I hop over to one of these, right to checkout, super great, love that. But if I do the t-shirt, I get to pick my size. Okay, I like it. Yeah, Valentina, overall, dig it a lot, for sure. I think it's just a bit of arrangement that will be kind of the optimal thing. Otherwise, I'm digging it. You really, I can see that you tried to really organize a lot of this stuff as much as there is, which there's a lot of good stuff on here. So that is what I'll say. The Rev. You're brand new to the community, just now running your first Fan Finder. You have a few questions. Welcome in. Good to meet you. This INDIESLIVE, we have a few different kinds, and this one is called an audit session. So in an audit session, we're looking for specific assets like a landing page or website, an email, an ad, a video, etc. And that's kind of what this session is for. So general questions are kind of taking second order to those things. So if you drop a question, if I have time at the end, I will get to them, but I am going to go through everyone who's left assets first. So just let that be known. I'm so glad you're here with us, though, and I'm pumped that you're running your first fan finder. All right, so let me do a quick refresh. Actually, Seth, let me try your landing page now that you somewhat left the URL. I hope this works. Cool. All right. Seth Evans, I am on your landing page. So if you're around, I hope you're checking this out. You want me to audit this landing page? Okay. Overall, I'm digging it. I like these simple ones, right? And you can't scroll. Yeah, leave the rev, leave the video. That I can definitely check out. Okay, there's a few things here. So first of all, I like the simple opt-in pages. There's no scrolling here, which is kind of cool. Like my eye can only be focused on what I can do here. You know, it's either opt-in or leave. No scrolling, no clicking around, you know. So I do like it. The color composition is nice. It's easy on the eyes. It conveys a sense of who Paul is. These social icons, I would definitely get rid of them because they are probably getting to this page from social. So they basically land here and then you're giving an opportunity to send them back to where they came from. That'll limit conversions, I think. I would take it right out. I'm also looking for a view content standard event on here. And then I see here, if I hover here, there's like a little Easter egg. If I click here, okay, it's not an Easter egg. So this Facebook icon is actually, for some reason, clickable all the way over here in this random little area. So that might be something to check into as well. Now, if I do a little fake opt-in, I'm sorry, I don't want to do this to you, but do remove me from your list. If I opt in, it cycles. Oh, it brings me to this new song. Straight up, and I can hear it. I would also want to see a lead standard event on this page. Can I download, I wonder? Yes, I can. Cool. Good track. Ooh. That's some neat production. Yeah, subscribe for early access. So yeah, I think you're good here. I would remove the social icons, put the standard events on it, and I would give it a shot. If you're not getting a lot of opt-ins, what I would say is that one song for download may not be a compelling offer, but it might be, depending on the audience and what you're doing there. So, but it looks good to roll for me. I really like the design. I think it's simple. I think it could work for sure. So good job, and even better job getting me that dang link. I'm sorry that it took so long. All right, let's see what else we got here. So Seth, I took care of, which is good. Big Piff, he said he dropped some stuff. Let me do a bit of a refresh. Yes, Seth, so when you put your pixel on that website, you're going to want to put a standard event code on each of those pages, the one before they sign up and the one after they get through. And you can get that info in our trainings, I believe, Ones and Zeros 101 and Ultimate Album Launch and Free Plus Shipping and Handling training. So for some reason, 1.5 million comments showed up here. Or maybe not. Okay. So Thomas Vadia, I'm assuming. I'm sorry. Landing page / homepage for the band you are the drummer in. you are the drummer of and used our techniques on. Big Piff, I'm sorry. Seth was facing that too. If you want to break up the URL into multiple pieces, we can try that. Like see what Seth did when he posted and try that and see if I can get it through that way. Okay, so Thomas, sorry. Okay, that's the website, and you say Suffering in Silence reached 1 year of marketing just a couple days ago. Spotify, Discover Weekly since May 10th, release averaging about 7,000 monthly listeners, which is awesome. We helped you build a ClickFunnels thing, but the opt-in is very expensive at $2 to $3 per lead. What would I recommend? Well, I would say, Thomas, that $2 to $3 a lead is not very expensive. For example, my music that I make, it's not the weirdest thing. Hello, Tomas, sorry. My music is not the weirdest music in the world, but it's not the most like immediately understandable music. And my lead costs are routinely like $250. And my conversions, sales conversions are really good. But I have, it takes more money for me to acquire that audience. So it could be that 2 to 3 is what you're working with. There could be ways to optimize that down, but I wouldn't be scared away or thinking that you're not doing super well at $2 to $3 a lead, especially if you're like a metal band, it looks like. I'm obviously jumping to conclusions based on the look, but Metallica, Pantera, Slipknot. I think obviously you're going for a more dialed in audience. So it could be that that's just going to be the name of the game. This page looks good. I mean, it's straight up. It's understandable. It's not too over the top. This ref URL is nice. So that's what I say. Congrats on all the streaming stuff. I think what I would recommend is use ClickFunnels to A/B test your opt-in pages and try to get them lower using the A/B test. But overall, if you routinely get $2 to $3 a lead, that might just be the name of your game, right? And what's going to lower that are like better fan finders, better opt-in pages, and better offers. So just I would keep running those opt-ins and keep making tweaks to see if they go up or down and react to that data. I'm going to hop to Joe Willie because he dropped questions a while back, or headlines. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to get to you, Valentina, your second question here. So Joe Willie in the moving man. Oh, you left the headlines, but again, I'm not seeing the video if you dropped it. I know a lot of you are having issues dropping links in here. I'm not sure what's going on, but Facebook is touchy, it would seem. So I'm trying to sort by newest. All right, here's a bunch of the links now. So there we go, Joe Willie. Let's check it out. Getting this in a tab here. Nice. Not the finished video. This is neat. Okay, so it looks like you sometimes have this side shot, which I think breaks it up nice. You might want more of that side shot, is what I'll say. I love the projections. That's a good way to just add some intrigue. This side shot from the control room, I think you'll want to make it more interstitial to retain engagement. if you find that you have a big drop off. I mean, every video has a big drop off, but a notably big one. And let's look at your headlines that you're thinking about. Big Piff, you said it's finally in there. Yeah, so I got you there. We'll get to you, I promise. Now I'll say we're running low on time here, but the Rev, you were looking to drop a video, and I'm not seeing it, so please keep trying. Joe, Florida residents alerted to risk of drugged gators after meth lab explosion. That's a hell of a headline. Florida cop eaten by meth-crazed gators. Meth gators discovered in Ocala, Florida. Meth lab fugitive may be responsible for drug-crazed gators. Police warned Florida residents of drug-crazed gators following meth lab incident. Rampaging gator who ate Florida cop was fed. Jeez, man. These are insane. So all of these have a similar vibe, and I get what you're saying. Like using this Florida man, Florida headline, like obviously we see that a lot. I think that could be good. And because your video is sort of a straight ahead performance and you have these aiding visuals, part of what's going to retain people are those visuals, but also, yes, right, all in the story of the song. That's where I'm going. So what's going to carry through this engagement is having people pay attention to the lyrics, like you're saying, because I'm discerning that the story of this song is related to these headlines. So your headlines will be good to be like, I think these headlines are good, is my overall point of saying like, Florida cop eaten by meth-crazed gators. First of all, that's just like pattern interrupt central. But second of all, then it's like, okay, that's the headline, and they're like, okay, what about this video could possibly explain this? The way that they would understand that is by listening to the lyrics and following along. So that's going to be what I recommend. Like, I think 3 is probably 3 or 2. This is funny. I think 2 is really the one because it has a nice sense of brevity. But it's kind of this kind of fan finder is tough because you're asking people to do a lot. You're asking them to listen in to the lyrics and think about it and wait for the payoff of this headline thing. So that's not to say it's bad. It's just you might have a harder time pulling in the right people because the video isn't as like jump out and grab you kind of vibe. I think you're doing everything you can to make this type of like straight on performance work good for you. So I would say feel good to run it. My recommendation would be caption 2. Yeah, or right, exactly. Test a bunch of them as you say. And I think you're in a good spot to run with it. You have my approval for show. So Big Piff dropped his link here. Let me try to get it in. And then I'll add this V thing here. The Rev, if you dropped it, I don't yet see it, but I'm going to refresh and see if it showed up. Yeah, I do not see it if you did drop it, the Rev. So try dropping it again and breaking up, like putting a space in the middle of the link so that it doesn't actually hyperlink it, and that might get it through. Okay, so Big Piff. There's your link. We're in there. You say, okay, that worked. 2 headers you were going to test are below. Okay. What pushed you out of your comfort zone? Here's how I got out of mine. It's too easy to get caught in a comfort zone. Here's how to get out of mine. They were based on the subject matter because you're an MC singing on the first track. Ah, okay. And here's a third headline possibility. The only thing constant is change. I'm trying not to get stuck in what I was. Here's how you got out of your comfort zone. Other options of playing off social distancing. For this feeling, I'll break self-quarantine / social distancing. When you feel like this, social distancing doesn't apply. All right, let's check it out. The Rev, drop it in the Facebook comments widget below the YouTube video. This is awesome. This is stanky. This is great. I love the drum tone. All right. Your headlines, I don't think they convey what you think. Like, they're not conveying what you're intending to as much as you might want to. Like, you're talking about, you're an MC, but you're singing on your first track, so you want to say, like, this is how I get out of my comfort zone. I would be more literal about that fact. Like instead of saying what pushed you out of your comfort zone, be like, you know, my first go at singing, right? Like your MC sings his first tune, you know, like some, not that literal, but like obviously dress it up more than that. But that would be more what I'm looking for. Like, you know, I normally rap, but sometimes you got to sing, right? Think about it that way. As for the more timely, like social distancing stuff, I would say, like, for that, I would be like, you know, social distancing can't stop the band, like the crew getting together, or like social distancing can't stop this groove from happening. You know, something like that would be my option there. The Rev and Tefo, I know you're saying you dropped links. I'm not able to see them in the YouTube comments, which I'm sorry about. It's just how it be. And then I'm looking for them in this section right here, this Facebook comments widget. And I've been refreshing. I've been paying attention there. But I'm not seeing anything new. It looks like a new one happened in there. Let's see. Load 10 more. The Rev, if you're on the watch page, it's just below this YouTube video. If you have the YouTube video maximized, you probably won't see it, and like if you're on your phone, but it's going to be down here if you're on a desktop. But I'm not seeing any new comments, and we're almost at the end here. But what I'll do, the Rev, is I know you dropped some comments whether or not I can see your video. I will address those questions. So you had said up here, your question concern is that you got way more views from 60-plus-year-old women in Canada, and Facebook subsequently spent a lot of your initial budget on that demo. As much as you appreciate any fan, you're not sure that group is one who will buy things and be super fans. Yeah, so I think my answering that, though, will kind of clear whatever issue you may have anyhow, whether or not I see the video. So when that happens, first of all, it's hard to have the clairvoyance of like who will buy and who won't. It could be that that's your perfect demo, and that's why Facebook's going, and they're going to buy the crap out of whatever you retarget them with. So we kind of do a lot to try to engender a sense of like, let the algorithm speak. It knows more than us, right? And I was just having this conversation earlier today, but like a lot of what defines your demo is not your targeting, but it's more your video, right? Like a lot of people do their fan finder and they're dead set of being like, my video is going to just reach, you know, kids 13 to 20 and like 60% female. And they just know that for some reason. They feel like that's who their people are. But then they run their video and it's all like, you know, 30 to 40 male, or, you know, something that's a little bit different. And it's like, possibly your video does not appeal to this younger audience in the way you think it does, right? And for example, my first fan finder tightly optimized from 13 to 24, slightly more male. And whenever I look at that now, I'm like, that's actually pretty crazy. Like, I didn't realize it was that tightly optimized around this super young demo. But looking back at the video, it makes a lot of sense because it's very kind of like, it has a TikTok sensibility to it. It's like very childish content. So my overall question is like, if that's happening, my first thing that I would say is like, it's probably your video, and you would need to drastically change the nature of your content in your video to allow for that to follow suit with the algorithm. If you end up cutting out a large swath of your targeting, your costs are going to increase because Facebook is kind of seeing it as like forcing a square peg into a round hole. And maybe this younger demo is not the best demo for this video. Nonetheless, like if you feel like it's just oversaturating this one demo and it's not, and the results coming from that demo are not working, cut them out and see what happens. Your costs will probably rise, but if you get a better sentiment in the comments and things and get better, audience for retargeting, and this will all make sense as you go through our trainings more, maybe that was the right call. But typically the algorithm knows what it's doing, and usually it means that your video is probably not as younger leaning as you might have discerned. Now I'm going to do one last refresh because we are about done here. And I'm just going to check on a quick thing in terms of scheduling. But I want to make sure if someone got in their link last minute here, I do want to make sure I see it. I am seeing the comments go up, but it looks like it is, again, it looks like it's rejecting a lot of these links. So, yeah, the rev, at least I'm glad I could kind of explain that to you. That probably answers everything you need to know whether or not I see the video. But feel free to post it in the larger Indies group and explain that, and you can explain what I said here, and that might be kind of all you need. Danny, I didn't see your question on green light countries. You said you had a question, but then I didn't see it anywhere. But the time is over, I'm sorry to say. So please drop that in the larger Indies group, and I'll keep a lookout for it. I'm going to sign off here. Thank you for all these great things. A lot of, honestly, great assets here. There wasn't something, I didn't not like anything that was posted in here, which is awesome. So I'm going to get out of here. I got to eat lunch. It's lunchtime in the Nashville office. So y'all have a great time. Stay happy and healthy as much as you can. Stay sane, stay positive, and keep trucking on this stuff. Y'all are doing great. I will see you throughout our community and on a later audit session, I'm sure. Have a great evening and week.